The very first time I ever bought a car, I went to my dad. I said, "Hey, I'm going to buy this car. It's $1,800. I'm 16 years old. It's you know, not a nice car. It was just wheels. It got me around." He said, "Well, how much is it?" And I said, "It's $1,800. He said, "No, like how much is it?" And I was like, and I knew what he meant was I made $4 an hour. I only would get 20 hours a week. What he was asking me is how many weeks of your life, how many days of your life do you have to give away to exchange for this car? And my dad always put in context the cost of things based on time. The lessons I think I've taken the longest to learn, I'm still learning, was that if you chase wealth, it eludes you. If you chase time, wealth oftentimes is the byproduct of it. We're either running from something or running to something. If time is my most valuable asset, I should spend more time managing my time than managing my money, right? Like I should have a really good relationship with the calendar and making sure that I'm putting and getting out of my day everything that I actually want, desire, need, and be relentless with your calendar and your time. Because it's in the breaking of those patterns that we actually get the success we want. I go through an exercise every year now where I actually toggle. I use an app called Toggle where I toggle a lot of my time. And at the end of the year, I give that to my CFO and we look at my active income based on the time I exchanged. Like this is what every minute of your life was worth last year. This is what you exchanged it for. And for me, then I'm constantly dialing that in every single year. I know it's a little crazy, but it's like for me, what it does is it gets me into this place where I'm really hyper focused on what I exchange my time for. I think one of the greatest lessons I've learned is to really understand who I am, not in kind of my conscious self, but trying to understand who I am in my subconscious self. In our conscious brain, we're making 7 decisions a minute, but in our subconscious brain, it's 10,000 or 20,000. It's like we're making all these decisions based on our subconscious mind, the thing that we're unaware of. And typically our subconscious is tied to traumas, it's tied to fears, it's tied to all these things. And I think that if we're not getting the outcome we want, I think we have to stop looking at the activity of our day and we have to look at the activity of our life, right? Like there are patterns in our life. Sometimes you just need that honest friend or mentor that's going to say, okay, let me show you this pattern that maybe you don't see. Because it's in the breaking of those patterns that we actually get the success we want. Really, number 2 is that oftentimes the things you chase elude you. And so if you chase the right thing, you ultimately get what you ultimately want. I wrote a book a few years ago called Time, Wealth, and Purpose. I didn't start with purpose. I actually started with time because oftentimes what you ultimately want is a result of actually just managing your time properly. If time is my most valuable asset, I should spend more time managing my time than managing my money. For me, the principle of getting what I want out of my life is a time-based principle, not a wealth-based principle. If you chase wealth, it eludes you. If you chase time, wealth oftentimes is the byproduct of it. So I rarely look at my world as the wealth or the achievement or the goals, but I look at my world as in these like these pieces of micro time that I will exchange for something that I want something in return for. And that would be the second thing I would say to a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business people that are pursuing, maybe they're in a W-2 job and it's like, in the end, it's so important that you manage your time. And I know that's cliche, but I will tell you that to the degree that I manage my time, everything else comes into purview. So what I'm doing is I'm constantly looking at my motives and my actions, determining like, am I passionately pursuing something because that's a love-based activity, or am I actually avoiding something? I don't want the liability. I don't want whatever it is. And then identifying and then go, okay, that's fear. And then let's actually like reason through that, and then it goes back to what should we be afraid of? Like there are really only a few things in life that we should be afraid of. And most of it, actually, the things that we're afraid of and we imagine in our mind, actually, if we went through them, would better us, right? Like it might be painful, but it's about having a decent relationship with her. But I think you have to understand what you do in your daily activities. And it's being conscious enough to look at what you do and determine, am I avoiding something or am I running to something? That's where purpose, mission, and all this stuff anchors into it. Because if I can kind of stay rooted in purpose, impacting someone else's life, impacting the lives of those that can't impact themselves, it's a lot easier to kind of like root that fear-based activity out of my life. One of my favorites is Kevin O'Leary. He's on Shark Tank. They call him Mr. Wonderful. He's this gruff, grouchy, mean guy, right? Like it's his persona. And then you get behind the scenes with him, and we're talking about life and his passion for whatever it is, like watches, cars, like people. And what I notice is that there's something in common with all of them, and it's they've got kind of what I would call like the seeker mentality. They have this passion for life, and they're all going deep in certain areas, and it's all really random stuff. But most of them have like this personality that's like they go really deep in areas, and they're seeking and they're searching and they're always learning, and they don't treat people as if they know it all, right? Like the most successful people we have on the stage, the Mark Cubans. I mean, Mark's multi-billionaire, just exited the Mavericks, made another billion. And it's like, the guy is super, super successful. We were sitting backstage, and he was watching somebody else on our TV in the green room. We got it publicized back there, and we're just chatting. He's like, hold on a second. And he's like listening to the speaker, and he's like, wow, that was really good. Hold on a second. He pulls out his phone. He's like taking a note, right? It's like, he was acting just like me, like that. I was like, and I'm always just so enamored by that in people. And so I think that sometimes their brands kind of position them as like they've found it all. They found all the success. You can't help them. You can't interact with them. And the funny thing is behind the scenes, they're all students of the game. They're all seeking. They're all learning. They're all passionate. That's what I've learned a lot, is that it's okay, and it doesn't diminish who you are. That authenticity of always being okay with not knowing something and being passionate to learn and to grow inside of something, that it doesn't diminish your brand by showing that you don't know something or that you still haven't achieved something in your life. It actually, it's a blessing at that level, because they have access to the people that can help them achieve it even quicker,